Hi everyone, I'm live. Thank you for joining me. I decided to go live. I was bored. I wish I knew how to read. Um, the MRI. Let me make some food. Alexa, go to bed. My butt hurts. My neck, my back, my booty and my crack. My neck, my back, my booty and my crack. My neck, my back, my booty and my crack. My neck, my back, my booty and my crack. My neck, eat my and my booty and my crack. Recast. Yeah, my neck, my back, my and my crack. My neck and my back. My neck, my back, my and my crack. My neck, my neck, my crack. My neck, my back, my and my crack. My back and my crack. I'm back, guys. I'll be back in a second. Making some food. Listen. So this was thin on this one. I'm back. Oh, nobody's here. Go to bed, Alexa. Alexa, go to sleep. Nobody here yet. I'm going for like. My eyes hurt. How's everyone doing today, guys? I'm so lonely. Let me see something else. Quote. How are you doing? Thank you for joining me. When is her trial? Courtney Clenny murder trial. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Okay, let's see this. This is a month ago.
Like, I have not always been a victim, but like right now I'm a freaking victim in situation. He and the defendant, Clenny, had been involved in an extremely tempestuous and combative relationship. Don't touch me! What is going on? He had my like neck, like outside, and this happened twice before I couldn't breathe. I was sober for 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and now why am I not sober? Because I'm you.
In our spotlight this morning, the case against former OnlyFans model Courtney Clenny is delayed yet again. And we're talking to her attorneys about it all this morning.
Wow.
So Clenny is accused of murdering her boyfriend, Christian Albumselli, during an argument that the couple had inside of their Miami condo back in 2022. Clenny claims that she threw a knife at Albumselli in self-defense. She was arrested more than 3 years ago and has been held without any bond ever since. Here's her attorney, Frank Prieto, in court last week talking about the delays.
We need to get this moving. Again, Ms. Clenny's been in custody now 3 years and 2 months.
Yes, somebody's.
It's time to get this in a realistic trial position.
Prosecutors rejected claims that the state is drawing out the case, telling the court that the defense filed the motions to suppress evidence and reconsider her bond and dismiss the case, and that they had to deal with those. Now, the hearing to reconsider bond is now set for November the 4th, and the December 1st trial date has been postponed. The judge set a December 5th deadline to respond to the attorney's filings. No
So
trial
that's today.
date is on the calendar at this point. So let's bring in Courtney Clenny's attorneys, Frank Prieto and Sabrina Puglisi. Good morning to you both. Thanks for coming back on the show. All right, so let's talk about where things stand now. Let's talk about the trial first, and then we're going to get to the bond.
My stomach hurts.
So many of our viewers, I'm sure you both.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe.
When is this case happening? When's it going? And I know I've asked you both often when you've been on the show, and unfortunately we just haven't had a date. Sabrina, realistically, when do you think this is going to go?
Realistically, we're hoping for the first part of next year.
Thank you. Happy Friday.
Scheduling and all the motions, you know, all the delays, Julie, that we've had. And much of it has been because of the prosecutorial misconduct with the breach of privilege. But we
No, I don't have a
finally
ping
are past
pong.
that. We're now getting ready to really go to the meat of the case, which is getting ready to litigate the motions. And then as soon as those are done, we'll be ready for trial. So yeah, realistically, I think we're going to be looking at the first part of next year, sometime in the first quarter.
Okay, so winter time, somewhere in there. I know you both have been preparing for a long time.
Oh, boy.
We've talked a lot about the case. Frank, I want to turn to you about the bond. We saw you in court making those arguments. We know now the bond hearing coming up soon.
Happy holidays, everyone.
November 4th. We have a clip from what the prosecuting attorney, Sean Abuhoff, had to say. I might be mispronouncing that name. Had to say about your client possibly getting bond. Let's take a listen.
Are you going to respond to my reconsideration?
So Judge, that's the hard part about this, is that there's not much that's new within this. They're asking for reconsideration based off of the amount of time and the litigation that took place really over the last 18 months.
I'm okay.
It doesn't change the risk of flight, the dangerousness. It doesn't, I honestly don't believe that there's any form of evidentiary hearing that would be necessary. And it's one of those that certainly if Your Honor believes I should respond, I'm happy to. But it's just, I don't believe there are grounds in this to warrant the defendant's release.
All right, Counselor Prieto, what's your response to that, please?
Julie, thanks for having us again. But so listen, the prosecutor, he raises a fair point. He's indicating that, saying that, hey, look, Judge, there's nothing new here. There's no new evidence. And so that the court should deny it. And Judge Wolfson is going to consider his argument. She indicated she's not sitting in an appellate capacity to overturn Judge Cruz's decision. But we did raise new issues. And one of the issues, it's connected to our motion to dismiss. We found out in a collateral proceeding that a witness, the first person to enter Miss Clenny's apartment, was videotaping on his phone and taking pictures. And after the police were interviewing him, they instructed him to delete all his videos and all the photos, which was the pristine alleged crime scene. So this is new evidence that I think the court needs to consider, that this would have been helpful for the defense. It raises issues of the preservation of the crime scene. And I think that it's something the judge should consider, along with the previous misconduct on the part of the government, to say, hey, look, there is new evidence here. I can reconsider bond, and hopefully Courtney will be out while we prepare for her trial.
Whoa. Okay, Frank, we want to back the truck up with you. Back the truck. I am horrified. So, I guess first question, was whatever was deleted recoverable?
According to that civilian witness, he deleted everything at the direction of the police, and then that was approximately, and then he changed his phone.
Oh boy.
Look, the government should have been aware of this, because the video that they turned over, surveillance video the government turned over to us from the elevator, shows this individual on his phone clearly filming. The government should have, they were in a better position when they had this before they even filed the case. They should have preserved that. They should have interviewed this gentleman. They should have served, iCloud warrants, whatnot on his phone. And it turns out he was never even interviewed by the state attorneys in this case. In fact, the lead detective never interviewed this guy. It was apparently a patrol officer.
Why in every case
over him, according to his testimony, and made him delete all the video and audio. Now, what was on there, we don't know. Obviously, the camera wasn't there when the event took place, when Miss Clenny was defending herself. But this is what we call a Youngblood violation, destruction of evidence, and that's the basis for the motion to dismiss, which ties into our reason to ask for another bond.
Wow. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, these things unfortunately happen. Good on both of you discovering that and being able to raise it as a viable issue for your client. And I would think, and I'm certainly not trying to speak for anybody or put words in anyone's mouth, but I would think the Albumselli family would probably be disgusted as well, because if there was something, like you said, Frank, you don't know what's on there that they may want to see. Obviously they're very upset and coming from a different perspective than you both are. You're advocates for Courtney. I can't believe a police officer would tell a witness to get rid of potential evidence. Can you share with me, was this a neighbor? Can you give us a little bit of an idea of who this gentleman was, if you know?
Yeah, Julie. Yeah, and listen, it is shocking. It's completely shocking to hear that whether it's a patrol officer or a detective, that they're destroying evidence, right? It's crazy, but this case has taken a turn for somewhat, there are so many issues that have come up in this case. You're well aware of the misconduct, the reading of our attorney-client privileged communications. It's absolutely crazy. It's bizarre, and it's a sad statement of how the justice system can work sometimes. But this gentleman was one of the employees of the condominium.
Oh, wow.
So he was there first with the security guard filming, which would have, revealed what was occurring at that point. It was minutes before the cops got there, the police officers. So.
Yeah, exactly. He was there before them. Boy, that's really unfortunate. But that's a really interesting issue. Even if it doesn't support your position at the bond hearing, perhaps at trial, it's obviously you two are such pros. You'll explore that on your crosses. Sabrina, let me go back to you, please. We know that you all have filed motions to exclude many of the phone recordings. Courtney and Christian recorded each other, a lot of toxicity, as we know. The phone calls that he recorded that are very damaging to her, where does that stand?
We have that pending. What we had to do was to supplement just the exact recordings, and we've done that. We refiled that, and so that will be pending. I mean, the case law is really clear that surreptitious recordings should not be admitted into evidence. And honestly, when you think about it, this is the whole thing of what Christian used to do, right? He used to taunt her. He used to gaslight her, get her to a point, and then he would record her. We don't know anything of what occurred before those recordings started. And that's why not only is it illegal to record somebody without their permission, it also is very unfair because it doesn't portray exactly what occurred during the situation.
Not New York.
Yeah, tough case. This is, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The best thing going for Courtney Clenny are the two of you, Sabrina Puglisi, Frank Prieto.
It's not illegal to record somebody in New York, The Voice.
With this new information, we're going to have to reach out to the Abumseli family.
Video recording
Mike Haggard, maybe he'll speak with us and see if they would. I would be upset if I were them, and this is potential evidence that's been.
I guess nobody's joining my channel tonight.
Welcome to Vinnypolitan Investigates. I'm Julia Janae, in for Vinny. The subject of our investigation is the death of Christian Abumseli at the hands of his own girlfriend, a social media influencer and OnlyFans model, Courtney Clenny. Here's the story. It's a story filled with glamour, passion, and ultimately devastating tragedy. Courtney Clenny, a social media star with millions of followers, lived in the shimmering heights of Miami's luxury lifestyle. By her side was cryptocurrency trader Christian Abumseli, a man described as vibrant, ambitious, and full of life. But behind the glossy images and curated posts, their relationship was marred by turbulence, arguments, and allegations of violence. In April of 2022, the glittering facade shattered when Christian was fatally stabbed in their high-rise apartment. Police arrived to a scene of chaos, blood, screams, and a life slipping away. Clenny claimed self-defense, saying she hurled a knife across the room, but prosecutors painted a darker portrait of manipulation and rage. The case captured the nation, not only because of the shocking nature, but because it exposed the fragility behind an image of perfection, leaving heartbreak and unanswered questions in its wake. This is the case is getting closer to a trial date. And back when it happened, Courtney Clenny did give an interview with police almost immediately, though it would be several months after that interview before she was charged with Abumseli's murder.
Everyone, please like and subscribe. Please hit that subscribe button as well.
After this happened.
I need more subs.
Like I said, a little bit blurred. I was doing laundry and watching a Christian Randall, or listening to a Christian Randall video, and tried to call my mom. She didn't answer the first time. And then he came back with a Subway sandwich. Before he left, he recited exactly what I wanted. And I said, I'll text what I want to you. And he said, I know what you want. I said, no, you don't. He recited it to me before he left. And he got it perfectly right. And then he left, I guess he went to go bike over there. That's just what he said. I don't know if he walked or biked, but he told me he's gonna bike first. Please. Yeah. He came back. And I said something about like, oh, are you gonna like reshare your location with me, like to unshare it? And he said, yeah, I unshared it. And I was like, oh, when did you do that? And he goes, the other day, like when you were done with me. And I was like, okay, well, fair enough. Like reshare it. And then he told, I mean, they kind of like turned into like a little like argument or something. And then he told me to reshare mine, and I was like, okay, yeah, I will. And then I didn't do it immediately. He asked me about it again.
I'm still here, but one thing for being here.
Don't know what I was thinking, but I just said something about, well, what if I'm somewhere you don't want me to be? Okay. Which I wouldn't have been. I love him. But like, you know, maybe you don't want to know where I am. I guess maybe it'll just like hurt him because he was pressing me. And he ended up pinning me against the wall. And then, I mean, I said like choking me on the floor. It's just like, you're looking at my neck, and I was like, I mean, I'm not saying like choking me like, you know, whatever. But I mean, you had my like neck, like and this happened twice before, where I couldn't breathe and I was on the floor. I could not breathe. And I don't think that he was trying to kill me, but I was scared. And all 3 times I have been scared. So yeah, I'm on the floor in heavy pins and lets me up. I'm on the get my mom on the phone, and I'm just trying to remember. I hear my mom on the phone, and I remember she was sitting like against the couch. Like we were obviously it was a big deal at this point. So this happened like over by the door, and somehow it was like over in the living room. He was standing by the couch, facing toward the kitchen. I was in the kitchen, and then he just like I could see like all the lights in his eyes, and he was like coming at me, and so I grabbed one of these knives. My mom got me for Christmas. I grabbed one of them, and I was like, I swear to God. I swear to God. It was just like, I mean, driving me like, don't come anywhere closer to me. Because earlier, that happened 2 other times I couldn't breathe. I'm sorry. I couldn't breathe. And it's very scary. And I just think like, just like this kind of thing where I was saying like, do you know if he's okay? If he's choking me, and he's angry enough, he might like, this is different, I think, but if he's like choking me or like pinning me or something and I can't breathe, he might go too long. So I grabbed my knife and I said, don't come anywhere closer to me. I had absolutely no intention of using it. I'm on the phone with my mom, and he's coming at me like he's gonna grab either the phone or like the knife or something, and so I was just like, I was like, don't come any closer. Coming at me, and I threw it. And I meant for it to go.
How far away was he?
Well, I was by my fridge, and he was like by the edge of one of the chairs of the sofa.
Okay.
Like
comparing to what
10 feet. I'm trying to think in my head.
So these are the first words of Courtney Clenny sitting down with police. It looks like right after this happened, it looks like she was yanked out of her home, still wearing almost night clothes. So that gets us to the first question in our investigation. There it is. What does Courtney Clenny's police interview that we just watched, what does it reveal about this case? Let's bring in our guest to help us answer that question. We have with us former Judge Tarlika Nunez-Navarro. She's also a dean of St. Thomas University College of Law, and criminal defense attorney Joanna Nieves is with us as well. Good to have you both on. Tarlika, let me start with you. When we are listening to that interview and interrogation, what is standing out to you from that?
Hello?
All right, looks like Tarlika, we have lost your signal. So Joanna, let me ask you this question. In listening to that interrogation, and again, what's standing out, especially when we're recognizing that ultimately this is a self-defense or murder case, but there's also elements, it sounds like, of an accident?
Yeah, hi Julia. Thanks for having me. So one of the things that comes to mind when I'm watching is how is this going to play out in front of a jury when they take this into consideration? If this is ever seen, what comes to mind? And a lot of times juries operate from this space of common sense and experience. And we as individuals make assessments about when people are telling the truth or when they're lying and what seems believable. And here we see that she's telling a story at first that's really consistent in pace and pattern at the very beginning. And she's talking about Subway and the order and what happens. And then when it comes down to what happened with the choking and where she was standing and how when the knife was thrown and how she was holding it up, she takes a number of pauses and tries to recall the story that she wants to tell. I don't think that in the interview it comes across as credible, and that might be something that the jury concludes as well as they're making their assessments.
Interesting. And yeah, at the beginning, it almost seems like it doesn't match just in terms of the context. We're talking about the stabbing death of someone, and I'm sure police told her you need to start at the beginning. She's talking about her Subway order, whether he recited it back to her, whether he got it right. It seemed like things were going just fine. And then there's this question of whether or not he sent his location, and we know that this was a volatile situation, that there was a lot of jealousy in this relationship. How do you think that plays into what police in this interview are thinking?
If you want to see me go live later on tonight, you better hit that like button and subscribe.
Subject of the murder, but I do think that it added up after a while, right? We're aware that there was a confrontation or an encounter with police where she was asking for a restraining order, and there were several instances like the elevator video where she's, wailing on him, and that this was a volatile relationship. So when you hear something that it does seem like it was a minor conversation that she started out with, and then there's dispute about their location, even the smallest of instances in these toxic relationships involving domestic violences can turn, instantly into tragedy like this one did. So here we are, okay, what might be a normal argument about where were you and what's your location with a more healthy relationship, all of a sudden ended up with somebody being stabbed to death.
And we have a situation here where she is claiming battered partner syndrome. It's what she's going to go to trial with as her defense. So not only self-defense, but also saying that even if self-defense alone isn't enough, this is what I was dealing with. But I want to talk about something that you mentioned, the delay, Joanna, in the arrest of this defendant of Courtney Clenny. Looks like I've lost both of our guests, but we are going to talk about what's happening next in this trial, because this is a case that wasn't set to go to trial for a while. The judge has put it on the docket. So we're going to continue to talk about this. We're going to catch a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about this issue that has come up, and it's a reason that the defense wants to throw out the entire case. Why would police ask a witness to delete crime scene photos?
Baby, wake up, wake up. Wait, what? Courtney? Courtney, keep it running up. Keep Courtney, listen to me. No. Get up, come on.
How you doing?
My two best friends were just murdered.
Join me for a Court TV.
You never tell a witness to delete evidence. That's terrible. How you doing, Sean? J-Man, I mean.
It's something that'll haunt all of us forever. It always seemed like he was covering or deceiving.
This was a whole different level.
Victim to Verdict with Ted Rowlands. New episodes Saturday night, 8 Eastern and Pacific.
Only on Court TV.
Only on Brian P.
I can't let this happen.
Relax, relax.
Why? No, God.
Relax.
I had my MRI earlier.
We are continuing our investigation into the fatal stabbing of Christian Obumseli and the trial for his girlfriend, Courtney Clenny. Now, in 2022, officers had to piece together what this crime scene meant. What details did they need when they have a man who's on the floor dead in an apartment and a girlfriend who admits that she used a knife? Here's a look at the body camera footage
from my lower
of
back.
the moments that officers rushed into that apartment for the first time.
Get up.
Please, please, go. Please,
Listen, get him up. Get up right. You can drop it to the floor. I'll help him up. Get up.
No. I can't let this happen.
Gotta go.
Where was it? Guys,
Relax, relax.
Why? No, guys.
Relax, relax. What's going on? Hey, you good? What do you have? Relax. What are you doing from? Go.
Guys, please.
Relax. Sit down.
Okay.
Sit down.
Here, just let me.
Sit down.
Okay. Baby, come here. Just sit down. Please, just make sure he's okay.
They're gonna be okay.
Okay. Jesse, come here, baby.
Stay right there.
Come on, boys. Come on, sit down.
Francis. Demon. Fire rescue. He's not breathing.
Can I just rinse off?
No.
I'm covered in blood. I'm covered in my boyfriend's
Miami, we're going to need fire rescue. Immediately, we have an unresponding male. The apartment's full of blood. How old is he?
He's 27. He's about to turn 28 in like 2 weeks. And he's 7 years old.
She killed him 2 weeks before his birthday. Wow.
Come on, stay here. Come back. Ranger, come on, baby. Hey, it's like his dad. I'm not going in. I'm not going in.
Doesn't matter. You stay right here.
Okay. Ranger, come on, babe.
Ranger.
I was saying it's like his dad. They're obsessed with each other. He's worried about him.
Ranger.
Hey, is he okay?
Hey, man. You. What's his name?
Jesse,
over here. Ranger. Come on.
Hey, is he okay?
Come on.
Come on.
Ranger.
What is going on?
The other one is right here.
I was
Ranger.
really scared. I just think I didn't. I'm covered in blood from holding.
Damon.
What is his name? What is his name? Christian Obumseli.
What's his name?
Christian Obumseli. Christian Obumseli. Please.
Listen, sit down. Do me a favor. Sit down. Do not
Why are you
move.
yelling at me?
Do not move.
Why are you yelling at me?
Do not move. Sit down.
Okay,
We don't know what's going on. We don't know what happened.
I'm terrified
So
for him.
right now, don't worry. They're helping him. So just sit down. Don't move. Okay?
They don't know what happened. They just got
That
there.
chaotic scene had a lot of officers all over this apartment, but they were not the first ones to respond. There was actually a private security guard for the apartment who showed up, and something about what happened with him is causing the defense to ask to dismiss this entire case. Now, in that filing by the defense, and this has to do with that individual, Danny Del Valle, and he was ordered by police, according to his deposition, where he was in a civil case, and this civil attorney asked him these questions. He said that he was asked to delete all of his recordings because, quote, law enforcement instructed and directed him to delete the totality of the most crucial evidence in this case. And the defense says his videos and photographs that would have captured the scene prior to the arrival of police and fire rescue. Mrs. Clenny's first words and responses upon finally getting help for Mr. Obumseli, all of that would have been revealed in this documentation. Now, this raw footage of the alleged crime scene before it was adulterated by the arrival of police and fire rescue, and the defense saying that they may have destroyed any blood evidence, including blood spatter evidence, that would have been helpful to the defense. So that gets us to the next question in our investigation. Why would police ask a witness to delete crime scene photos? Let's bring in our guest to talk about this one. Here to help us with our investigation is former Judge Tarlika Nunez Navarro, and also she's the Dean of St. Thomas University College of Law, and joining the program, retired New York Police Detective Michael Alcazar. He's a professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Good to have you both on. Tarlika, I need to start with you. Let's see if we can talk about this case and why the defense is saying these videos were deleted. If that was true, what's your thought on police potentially asking for crime scene photos to be deleted?
Or videos.
Well, Julia, contrary to popular belief, this is done quite often, and it's because the police and law enforcement and prosecutors have to follow policy and procedure, which is chain of custody. They have to make sure that everything's documented appropriately and that nothing can be released to the press outside of that documentation. So although they say, yes, they asked him to delete these videos, I'm sure that they took them into account and into the investigation.
So, Mike, I want to ask, because you have the law enforcement background on this one, and I first want to play a bit of sound from the defense attorneys who filed that motion to dismiss. They've been on court TV talking to us about why this was self-defense.
The evidence is clear in this case. That she was the victim of domestic violence. There is not, this has been portrayed as one-sided up until this point.
You know, the other day I heard the attorney for the family speak, and she used the words that Alumseli was a gentle soul, a kind and docile, gentle man. But the evidence really goes against that, and I don't think we've had the opportunity to really share it, but I'll just give you 3 examples. In Las Vegas, July of 2021, security was called by Courtney, and the body cam of the officer shows the security guard telling him, "We overheard her on the phone saying, 'Get your hands off me.' They go up to the room and clumps of her hair on the ground." 2022, in February, we have a audio video of the security going up to outside of the apartment where they can hear Courtney screaming, saying, "You hit me in the leg." And then just a mere 2 days before what happened here, this tragedy, we know that Courtney was asking for help. She was begging the police to get her a restraining order. But more than that, and something that I think is not really shown, is in that same body cam, the employee at that building, he is heard telling the officers on the body cam, "We saw Alumseli charge at her and had to get in the middle." Those are not the actions of a gentle soul, a docile man.
So that's the defense side of this, and the prosecution has another take, but you're hearing, even in that the security guard there at this apartment complex is really important to the case because of those prior instances. Now, the district attorney's office there in Miami-Dade, one of their assistant state attorneys, had this to say in particular about the wound.
The chief medical examiner of Miami-Dade County determined that Christian's cause of death was a stab to the chest. Christian was stabbed as the knife punctured the subclavian artery in his right chest. If you look over here for just a second to either one of these screens, you will see, get a good idea of how large that subclavian artery is within the human heart. The chief medical examiner further determined that the knife entered Christian's chest in a downward angle to the depth of 3 inches. In other words, the medical examiner has indicated that the fatal knife wound which entered Christian's chest was the result of a forceful downward thrust penetrating to the depth of over just 3 inches into that artery you just saw. You'll see there on those screens on either side how deep that 3 inches is. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it was certainly enough to kill him.
And that wound a huge part in why prosecutors went forward with charges in this case. Something else that added to why they went the route of charges is this, that's still to come. What role did Christian Alumseli's words and secret recordings play in the trial?
She's not ugly, she's attractive, but she fucked herself over. If she's not acquitted. Even if she is, I don't know. Nobody wants to date her.
Welcome to Vinnie Politan Investigates. I'm Julia Janae, filling in for Vinnie as we continue our investigation into the OnlyFans murder trial involving Courtney Clenny and Christian Obumseli, two young people caught in a volatile relationship. Here's the story. Courtney Clenny, widely known online as Courtney Taylor, a social media influencer and OnlyFans model, earned staggering amounts of money from her online persona, reportedly more than $3 million in just 2 years. With that wealth came a life of luxury in Miami, where she lived with her boyfriend, Christian Obumseli. To outsiders, their relationship seemed glamorous, but behind closed doors, it was volatile, marked by heated arguments, public altercations, and troubling reports of domestic violence from both sides. Friends of Obumseli, a tech entrepreneur, described him as charismatic and driven, though often overwhelmed by the storm of their romance. Police were called to their apartment multiple times, neighbors recalling fights that spilled into hallways. In April of 2022, their relationship ended in tragedy when Obumseli was fatally stabbed in their high-rise home. Prosecutors say Clenny was the aggressor, presenting video of her striking him in an elevator and revealing texts that hinted at a toxic pattern of jealousy and control. Clenny claimed self-defense, while prosecutors accused her of escalating violence, turning a life fueled by money, fame, and desire into one defined by loss and controversy. Was she a battered woman fighting back, or a millionaire influencer hiding a lethal temper? But there are a lot of recordings in this case, from interrogation video of the suspect, the police body cam, even elevator video. But further investigation by police would reveal that Christian Obumseli took some recordings of his own, oftentimes a secret from the suspect in this case.
Whole story, like I was on the couch, like she threw the glass thing, and my mouth on my face. Then I went back to bed, and I was like, why'd you do that? Okay, I go to bed.
I'm gonna get ready to go. Thank you guys for joining me. Bye.